What the hell is up? My name is Tori Franco, and this is episode 11 of the What the World Needs podcast. And in this podcast episode, I want to talk about last episode. We went through the questionnaire at the end of Think and Grow Rich, the book that was made famous back in the day. I don't even know when it was made famous. I mean, I think it's from the 20s, to be honest. But we did a questionnaire about like self-assessment and kind of just being honest with yourself about what your strengths and weaknesses are. And in this podcast, I want to talk about pretty much saying F what other people say and pursuing your dreams anyway, even when people think you're crazy. And I think that kind of ties into self-development and self-assessment and self-awareness. So I don't know, this kind of perfectly segues. What I'm going to do is start with a story, a quick story as to why I'm talking about this in this episode. And then, I don't know, just speak on the subject. So anyway, if you're watching me on YouTube, let me know in the comments how you feel after you listen to this podcast and you watch. Let me know what your feelings are, what your dreams are, and what you're doing to pursue those dreams. Anyway, so the other night, I went to the diner with my father. My parents are divorced. I don't live with my father. So every once in a while, you know, we'll go out to dinner and catch up. My father is where I get my music abilities from. I mean, my mother too, but my father and I share a deep, deep passion for music, and we could talk for hours about it. And I feel like in some ways he's living vicariously through me with, you know, my YouTube channel and everything that I'm trying to do with songwriting and music. So we're sitting down, and it's almost as if he knew to ask, like, what's going on with your current situation? And without being too in-depth, before pursuing this dream or deciding to pursue this dream full-time, I was working a full-time job, somewhere else, and I didn't particularly love it. Actually, matter of fact, I hated it, and I decided to pursue this dream full-time and put all my time and energy into this. So he asked me about my situation. We started talking about it, and again, without getting into little tiny infinitesimal details, he was expressing his concern about my choices to pursue this full time. And he said, you know, I want to see you succeed. I want you to pursue this dream. I want you to follow your dreams. But going all in the way that you are is foolish, basically. And I'm sitting there in the middle of the diner getting, you know, frustrated, not angry, but just frustrated with him because I was very scared to leave my job. I was very afraid to, you know, take the leave of absence and do what I did. And at first I didn't do it to pursue my dream. I did it to become mentally healthy again. I was struggling with a severe depression. I was, debilitated from it and could barely leave the house without having a huge, horrible panic attack. So at first I left my job temporarily to just be okay enough to get out of bed and be able to go back to work. And then once I did that, I had already disliked this job. And then once I did that, I realized, holy crap, not a majority, but a big portion of my anxiety or my depression or why I was feeling the way that I was feeling, like this weight on my shoulders, was coming from the fact that I wasn't pursuing my dreams, the fact that I was putting all my time and energy into something that wasn't serving me. And quite frankly, not only was it not serving me, but it was actually hurting me, mentally and physically. It was draining and whatever. So I had first made the decision to do that for a different reason, but then along the way, this has been almost 2 years now, just about. Along the way, I kind of found my way and kind of came back into my passion and found my YouTube following and started building. just kind of by chance. And now that I'm here and I'm, all in working toward this one goal, or, these couple goals that are kind of similar, however you want to put it, for me, there's no turning back, So he asked me about my situation, and I told him I'm doing this. I'm choosing to pursue this. Right now, I'm making, an income, a small income, doing something on the side. I'm choosing to pursue this. This is my choice. I'm going to struggle financially a little bit for right now, but I know in the long run, it'll pay off, if I just continue doing what I love to do. And he looked at me and he said, well, you're pretty foolish, because what if this happens? What if that happens? What if, this catastrophe happens? And I looked at him and I said, you're right, but what if it doesn't? And what if I just choose to live my life in fear for the rest of my life and just play it safe, because what if, and then I never get to fully experience the success that I can experience had I just gone all in and put all my time and energy into this dream. So it's a risk, absolutely, doing what I'm doing, or anybody who's starting out, or an entrepreneur starting out, trying to build a business or their own brand, or build themselves as a brand. It's a risk if you're starting from scratch, and almost everybody is, but the return on investment, what you get back in return, is so much more valuable. And that's not even talking about money. That's talking about your fan base and the supporters that you have, and the connections that you get to make, and the things that you learn about yourself along the way. You can't do that any other way, genuinely. And it's kind of like the story of, like, maybe not, but like the story of like Jesus when he went like 40 days and 40 nights without food or drink. It's like you learn when you're in that under pressure position, you know what I mean? Like you can't do anything else but learn about yourself. So I feel like personal development ties in with this, but I thought of a couple analogies, and I got really, really frustrated with my father, and he got really frustrated with me, because he really, as a father, is looking out for me, and I understand that, and I appreciate him and his input, and I appreciate having these conversations with him 100%. And I think maybe next week or the week after, I'm actually going to have him on here and maybe just give his side. I don't know. He really wants to be on the podcast, so we'll see. You may be seeing him in a week or two. Anyway, I genuinely appreciate his input, and I appreciate where he comes from, and I'm not by any means ignorant of the fact that this is definitely a risk. And I have considered all the negatives, but I'm not trying to focus on those. And I'm not trying to live my life by the negatives, because think of it this way. If we all lived our lives by the negative things that could happen, we wouldn't ever do anything. It's like, oh, I'm going to go skydiving. Well, what if my parachute doesn't come out? I don't know, engage, if I don't know what it's called. You know what I mean? So then that prevents you from flying or from skydiving. Oh, well, I could fall in love, but what if I get my heart broken? Okay, well then you don't fall in love then. I could go outside, but what if somebody with a gun is out there and wants to shoot me and kill me? Okay, so then don't go outside. I could take a shower, but what if I slip and fall and hit my head? Do you see what I'm saying? If we always lived our life by those fears, we would never live, period. And while this obviously is an extreme, not an extreme, but this is on a grander scale where, yeah, there really is, the risk is obviously more so than if you just stepped foot outside like a normal day. But at the same time, I feel lucky. I feel blessed. And we create our own luck, luck is nothing more than something that we create and we manifest. And I know I'm in the right mind state. I know I'm in the right place mentally, and physically I'm getting there, and emotionally I'm getting there, and it's only gonna get better. And I thought of this analogy. It's like, picture yourself driving in a parking lot, right? There's a strip of stores, and you're driving and you're looking for the closest spot to the destination, right? So your store is, let's say, here, but there's a bunch of stores next to it and the parking lot is huge, right? And let's say that obviously the most ideal situation is you get a spot right in front of the store that you're walking into, right? Now, when you first enter this parking lot, you see all these spots that are taken. And as you're driving far away from the store that you're trying to get to, you see a couple of spots open. So before anything, because you're afraid that if you continue driving and look for the better spot, that you're going to lose those shitty spots or whatever, you just jump right into the first spot that you see because it's safe. Well, I'm going to jump into this spot and not look for something better. I'm going to settle for this spot and not look for anything better for myself because I'm afraid that that better is not going to come, right? So you sit and you park in that shit spot, and then you have to walk a ways to get to your destination because you parked so far away because you chose the first spot that came to you. And as you're walking on your way to this store that you're trying to go into, you see very close to your store 3 spots open. And you look at yourself and you're like, damn, I should have kept driving and looking for a better spot. I shouldn't have settled for the first spot that came because, look, there's now 3 spots open that were 10, 15 times better than where I'm at now. But I can't go back because what's the point in that, right? So to me, pursuing your dreams and making the choice to go and get better for yourself is that analogy. It's instead of taking the first 9-to-5 job with benefits that's pretty good and pays pretty well, instead of settling for that and just choosing to move up in that company, you're choosing to say, no, you know what? This is a great opportunity and I'm happy that I was given this opportunity, but my life doesn't just stop here. You know what I mean? I'm going to go and look for and create better for myself. And that's where I'm at right now. And my father had said to me, he was talking about security, having health benefits and having the income. What if your car breaks down? And I said, that's fine, whatever, right? I'll always figure out a way. I will always figure out a way. And these were things that he was discussing. By the way, my dog is sitting right here, so if you hear him bark in the background, it's because he hears a leaf blow and he freaking barks. Anyway, so he said, you need money. And I looked at him and I said, to be honest, Dad, money's not my biggest asset. Money's not important to me right now. What's important to me is my time. And time is my greatest asset. Time is all of our greatest assets. Like, think about it. If you don't have time, what are you? You're dead, obviously. You're not here. If you don't have time, if you don't make time, you have nothing. If you don't put the time in to pursue your dreams, if you don't put this time aside to learn what you need to learn to pursue your dreams, if you don't take the time to become a better person overall, if you don't spend time with your loved ones before it's too late, what do you have? You know what I mean? What exactly do you have? And he looked at me and he said, time is evil. Time is the devil. Time is against us. And I said, that's not true. Because to say that time is against us and it's evil would be saying that life is against us and life is evil. And to me, that's just a pessimist's way of looking at life. And while I understand there are so many perspectives that we can look at the same thing in 30 different ways, I'm not choosing to look at life or time or anything that way. Because I know that in doing that, in looking at life in that, with that attitude, like, time is against me, would be detrimental to my growth as a human being and my growth as a brand, you know what I mean? And my growth just overall. So why would I do that? And I'm not going to do that. time is my asset. I'm 28 years old. I have all the time in the world. There are people, even if, let's say, my time, God forbid, is cut short at 68, that gives me still a good 40 friggin' years to work toward this goal. You know what I mean? Do you know what could happen in 40 years? I'm not even 30 yet, and my life has been filled with wonderful things, you know? And crazy bad things too, but not too bad, you know? So that's the way I choose to look at it. I choose to say, you know what? If the glass is half empty, I'm going to go buy myself some water or some vodka, however I'm feeling that day. You know? I'm not going to just sit here and dwell on the fact that this could go wrong, or, you know, the glass could break, whatever it is. So this was our conversation, and I really genuinely just want to portray this message to anybody watching that it's not good to be that way. I lived this way for such a long time, playing it safe, going to my 9-to-5 job, waking up every single day at 7 a.m., hating my life. And I didn't hate my life because I didn't want to work and I wanted to be lazy. You all know, especially if you know me from my other YouTube channel, if you're here from there, you know I put in the work. You know, I love working, but what's the point of working and putting your energy into something that you don't genuinely love? There is no point. It's a waste of energy to me. You're helping by going to a 9-to-5 and putting all your energy into that, or allowing that to drain your energy. You're literally having your energy drained for somebody else's dream, for somebody else who wanted to start a company and had the balls enough to do it, and now they have money and a huge corporation where they can hire somebody like you to work for them. And I'm not saying that having a job is bad. Obviously everybody needs to make money, but I am making my own way right now, you know? And while it's not the best, it's not the worst, you know? And I know that if I just keep on moving and keep on going and keep on progressing and keep on connecting with people and keep on doing what I'm doing and speaking about it and documenting it, I know that I will be okay. And I will be better than okay. And not only will I be better than okay, but I'll be able to make a living doing what I genuinely love doing. And that's connecting with all of you guys. And that's part of the reason why I started this podcast was to show this journey that I'm on, you know? I have no expertise in any of this stuff. I'm just learning all of this as I go along, and I think it's a beautiful thing when you can learn with people, you know? It's the whole reason why religion is such a big thing in everybody's lives, is because, you know, it's a bunch of people coming together and learning something about themselves or about the universe or whatever it is, you know? And again, I'm not a religious person at all. I'm not into that stuff. I have my beliefs, and I have my beliefs about God and all of that. But it's just psychological. We all need to connect to something and someone, and we all need to believe in something. And what better thing to believe in than yourself? What's better than that? You know? What better thing to invest in than yourself? What better thing to love than yourself, you know? And it's a contradiction when we say you have to love yourself, you have to treat yourself good, but only under certain conditions. When it comes to going to that 9-to-5 that you hate, you have to just grin and bear it. What? What do you mean? Doesn't loving yourself mean wholly? Love yourself as a whole in every aspect of your life. Don't ever do anything, not one single thing, that doesn't serve you or light your soul on fire. Why would you do anything that doesn't light your soul on fire? Why? Why would you do it? So I've learned, unfortunately the hard way in certain situations, to say no to people, loved ones, especially loved ones, and realize that if they love you, they'll understand and accept it, and if they don't really care about you, then they won't. And that's how you filter out the shit people from the good people. But again, if you want more on that, I did another podcast episode. I don't know what episode it was, but so there's this whole, like, we're such a contradictory society, especially in America, because in America this self-development and self-help and positive thinking shit is so popular, and the self-love thing is like, it's a meme all over Instagram. Everybody's preaching self-love and how you have to love yourself, but they're not fully loving themselves. Like, and it's such a contradiction, and it's such a backwards thing. And you know, my father told me, he's like, I think you're foolish. I think you're being foolish. And I said, well, then that means I'm doing something right. You know, if you think I'm foolish, if you think I'm crazy, then that means I'm on the right path. Because I may be a little crazy, but I'm crazy for a good cause. I'm crazy for the cause. You know what I mean? That's me. And I'll take that. I will totally take that. People may not understand, but they don't have to understand. The only person who has to understand is you. And you don't just sit and let all the shit linger and do the bare minimum. Like, right now I'm doing so much. I'm trying to write for other people. I'm writing for myself these 52 songs, this challenge that I've created for myself that I genuinely feel like it's going to help me once it's all said and done. I'm doing this podcast. I'm doing my YouTube channel. I'm in school. You know, I'm only taking one class, but I'm in school still nonetheless. You know what I mean? And you have to put in the work, and you have to believe in yourself enough. And you have to wake up every single day excited to do it. And I am. I wake up every single day excited to get the day started and do what I got to do. And I still struggle with procrastination. You all know I have a problem with procrastination. There is no secret about that. I make no mistake in speaking on it. You know what I mean? I won't ever not talk about my flaws and my faults and things I have to worry about. But that's part of being self-aware, is knowing what your weaknesses are, and don't just know them and acknowledge them, but acknowledge them and try and fix them, you know? So that's where I'm at. And that is the only way that you'll develop as a human being. And these last 2 years, man, I've just changed so much for the better. You know, you realize when you hit a wall, a brick, steel wall, in your life, the only thing to do is to take a step back and redirect. And in that redirection, you essentially end up becoming a different, new person. You know, it was always in me. I always had the capabilities to do it, but I had to have something, a catalyst, to bring it out. And I'm so happy with where I'm at. I'm so happy with the people that I'm surrounded with. Close-knit, my friends. You know, I don't have too many anymore, but I'm so happy with the ones that I do have. And I'm so happy with my progression and the fact that I am in control of how much I progress in the future and how much I accomplish. And mark my words, I will prove my father wrong. I will absolutely prove my father wrong. And I told him, when I do what I was sent here to do, what I was put on this planet to do, when I accomplish that goal, I'm going to come to you and I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say, I told you so. And he looked at me and he said, I really, really hope you do. And I said, oh no, I'm going to. And he said, okay, well, we'll wait for that day. And I'm not putting a time limit on it either. You know, it's not like, oh, if I don't in the next 2 years, like, no, I'm going to just do what I gotta do and continue to move forward and continue to do this. And people who don't understand, guess what? You don't have to understand. You don't have to get it. You don't have to, you're not living my life. Guess what? I don't have to understand why you're with the partner that you're with. I don't have to understand why you do the shit that you do. Why? Because I'm not you, and what you do in your life doesn't affect mine. So the moral of the story is people are going to have their opinions, especially if you're doing something as crazy as I'm doing. And the fact that it's crazy to pursue your dreams in this society and most societies, the fact that that is crazy to me. I just don't get it. Why is it so backwards? I just don't understand. It should not be crazy to pursue what you love to do. How is that crazy? How is that a crazy thing? It's like, oh, you're actually going to pursue what you love and do what sets your soul on fire and what you're passionate about? Oh, you're an idiot. What? You're irresponsible for doing that, for living to make yourself happy. Oh, okay. Like, oh, all right. But I bet your boss, the one that you're working for at your 9-to-5 job, who's making $500,000 a year and only paying you $20,000, that guy bet you at some point he wasn't just walking down the street one day handed a business, a multi-million-dollar business. No. That guy that you work for at your 9-to-5 job is the person that you think is crazy, because he actually took the chance, took the time to pursue his dreams and built his company from a $10,000 a month business or $10,000 a year business to now a multi-million-dollar business where he's living in the most prestigious place near you, in your area, and you get to go home after being his receptionist because that's all you think you're worth. Well, I'm here to say that that's not fucking true. You are worth so much more. If you like to sew, if you like to, what was the example I used last time? If you like to build computers, if you like to trade Pokemon cards, I just looked at my Snorlax and got that idea. That's why. If you like to work out, whatever the hell you like to do, turn that into your life. Period. If you're passionate about it, you can do it. There are so many people. I'm reading this book by Gary Vee called Crushing It, and there's a story in there about a guy who was an architect, and he took the LEED exam, the LEED exam. I don't know what it entails, but it's like an extra certification for architects, right? Now, you would think, how many architects are like in the USA? Pfft, who the hell knows, right? But how many people do you think are really searching online to find LEED exam questions and whatever, right? You would think that there's not a huge market for it. This guy built his business pretty much accidentally by creating a website for himself. He wasn't even trying to monetize it or anything. He created a website just so that he could put all of what he was studying in one place and revisit it every time he was studying for this exam. It's a very rigorous exam, right? He did this. He started without even trying, because it was, I guess, so informative. So many people kept coming back to this website that he eventually wrote an ebook. He made money off of the ebook, and essentially, long story short, is now a personal development coach and business development coach and teaches people how to create businesses online, and that's how he makes his living now. And all he did was create a website, literally, like to try and study for an exam. So you wouldn't, how many people that are even listening to this or watching this right now have heard of the LEED exam? Nobody. But this man is making probably millions of dollars doing what he essentially loves to do, all starting from making a website around this exam. You know what I mean? So anything is possible. The possibilities, the opportunities are endless. And the what ifs of all the bad things, there's always, to every problem is a solution. You may not like the solution, but to every problem there is a solution, period. Or else there would be no problems. Because solutions are definite. Problems are not. I hope you understand that. I really do. Solutions are definite. Problems are not definite. They are not end all be all. It's like having a math problem with no answer. Well, that's not possible. That's not possible. If there's a math problem with no solution, guess what the solution is? You write no solution. That's still a solution. Do you get it? So I really hope that this podcast can bring something of value to you, especially if you're on the fence or considering pursuing your dream. Like, nothing is against you. Nothing. You may think it is, but nothing is against you. And no one is against you. And even if they are against the idea of you doing this, it's not because they're against you. It's because they genuinely don't understand. Because we are all conditioned to be fucking zombies and settle. That's what we're conditioned to do as people. And it's very sad. It's a very sad thing. It makes me so angry when I think of people who just settle. I feel bad. I genuinely feel bad for that customer service representative who is going to be that, for the rest of their life, because they genuinely think that there's nothing better out there for them. That makes me so sad, because I was that person, I was that person for years, literally at a customer service job. And I thought to myself, like, the only difference is I literally thought to myself, I need a way out. What can I do as an escape? What can I do? And when I went through all my even practical options of, like, let me go to college and become a psychologist, which I would totally do, but I don't know if I would love it. Like, I don't know if it would be a burning passion inside of me. It would be cool doing it. I'm very interested in it, but it's not something that fucking wakes me up in the morning. It's not something when I wake up I'm like, God, I gotta do this. So I could do that, but technically it would still be settling. And I went through all these options and all of this, and it was only through my deepest, darkest depression and my greatest loss of myself that I really was like, wait, I don't have anything else to lose, so the only place to go from here is up. And thus I started, in the midst of that depression, I started my YouTube channel doing reaction videos. And literally just today woke up and saw that I now have almost 21,000 subscribers on that channel. And it's growing, and it's evolving, and I'm learning as I go. If you go back to my old videos, they suck, but I just continued doing it because I set that intention. And that's what we have to do. That is the friggin' key, is just setting the intention to do one thing every single day that gets you closer to your goals, closer to your dreams, and you never know. I didn't know in starting that YouTube channel or starting to do those reaction videos or whatever. I had no idea that somebody from the Philippines was going to reach out to me after I reacted to Mariah Carey bombing at the freaking New Year's Eve New York City thing. I didn't know that a Filipino was going to by chance find that and request me to react to Filipino singer KZ Tandingan. I had no idea, but it happened. And when I saw his comment, I had no idea who the hell he was talking about. I had no idea the singer he wanted me to check out, but I looked at it and I was like, hey, what the hell? It's my first YouTube comment. That's pretty cool. And from then on, in a week, I had 1,000 subscribers. A week later, another 1,000. A week later, another 1,000. And now I'm at 20,000 subscribers, a little over a year later. Almost 21,000. Guarantee I will hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And while that may not be huge to some people out there, it is. How hard is it to build a YouTube following, especially nowadays? So the fact of the matter is anything is possible. Anything is possible. There are so many. The book Crushing It, again, in the link in the in the description below, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm gonna leave a link for Crushing It, just in case you want to check it out. It's a great book, so inspirational. In the book, there are so many stories of people who got pretty much put on just by chance, just by chance. There was a musician who he had 2 dogs that were really disobedient, and they were disrupting like the neighborhood. They were that bad. And the owner, he was a musician. He was making like $20,000 a year being a part-time musician, and obviously struggling or whatever. And he decided to learn how to train his dogs to be better. He started watching the freaking Dog Whisperer and learned how to train his dogs, made videos about it and everything like that, and built a huge business on now like dog training and all of that. So anything is possible, anything. And that's really it. That's what I want to say. That's the message I want to drive home. If you have a dream, go for it, no matter what anybody says to you. I hope this was helpful. But anyway, until next time, let me know what you guys want me to talk about in the next podcast. I love you all. I thank you all for listening. My name is Tori Franco. Until next time, stay real, stay smiling, and stay wonderful. Peace out, everybody.